New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Oh, look, I'm so much bigger than you are. There I am.
Not anymore.
Wow. Yes, Girls Behaving Metaphysically, that's who we are. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson, and we are, what are we?
We're still Girls Behaving Metaphysically. However, we'll let you know that we are in two separate parts of the world. I am in Southern California, in Carlsbad, California. And Dr.
Go ahead.
No,
I have an announcement to make. Yeah. I'm in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, recovering from a respiratory virus that took me out for like a week and a half. But thanks to this respiratory virus, guess what? You ready?
I'm ready.
I can fit into my size 6 leather pants. Hey, RSV.
All right. You see, there's always a good side to anything. You can always find a good side. That's exciting.
Yeah, because it's probably going to last for like a week. And then like I won't be able to wait.
Hey, a week is a week, you know? There's no time and space for your joy, you know? Makes you happy. It's good.
Even as I'm still coughing and taking my antibiotic, because my doctor is the best, right? He's like, let's just give you a broad spectrum answer because me and my girls were still having a cough. And he's like, let's just make sure, right? Let's just cover it all so there's no secondary chest infection. And then I got up this morning, I put these pants on. I was like, I have solved life. I have solved life.
The key to life. That's fantastic. That's exciting. Well, I too had dental surgery this week.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're all on antibiotics. So there you go.
Restricted like your food intake? I'm imagining.
Oh yeah, I was like I was drinking Jamba juices for like the last 2 days like they were tequila shots. I was just like down in them. That was my primary source. Mostly because I have to say I love my dentist. This is actually one of the reasons we're here. I literally traveled from New Mexico to California because I love my dentist and I won't go to anyone else.
No,
and,
Rob. Yes.
And he's so amazing. He's so good. I mean, anybody in Southern California, Dr. Ramsey Amin, Burbank, California, he's just amazing. It's one of those situations where you go in and it's like going to Nordstrom's, you know, it's like there's rarely anyone in the waiting room because they schedule, you know, with enough time to take care of everyone. Everyone in the office is so happy and joyous because he treats his workers good, and they're like a family, you know. And he's just really attentive. Like the first time I went to him over 25 years ago or right around there, he, you know, I went to him because somebody said, well, if you're scared of going to the dentist, and I wasn't scared of going to the dentist, However, I had a bad experience with a friend who was a dentist and had to give me like 16 shots of Novocaine to get me numb, which hadn't been the case before. So they're like, he's the one. So he's just attentive to your every need. And I'm telling you, I had literally like, he did like deep cleaning like in my gums to get plaque out from underneath and then get my mouth ready for an implant. And it wasn't even sore. I mean, and they call to check on you and make sure you're okay. And, you know, just really attentive. If you need anything, call us, and 9,000 sheets of precautions, and do ice and do this and do that. And it's like you just feel taken care of, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, it really does. So when you say you travel for your doctor, your dentist, I get it. I have a very, not exactly, but very similar relationship to my GP here, which is like we say PCP in the US. But he's known me since I moved to Australia, and has just been with me, like, you know, when you feel like you have someone who partners with you, right? Like when I went in and I told him, I said, look, I'm so tired of not having a libido. I just got impatient and started titrating myself from my antidepressant. And he was like, and I was like, but I'm having this midday anxiety spike. And he just goes, okay, Dr. Wilson, what do you think is happening there?
Nice.
I just, you know, it's like that, you know, like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. He was like and literally he owns like all these clinics across this region, and I have you know, it's not the same as like flying or driving to Southern California, but like I've driven up to an hour because they're like, he's available at this clinic on that day. I'm like, okay, no worries, I'm there, you know. Yeah. So I hear you.
Well, I think it's so important, really, especially nowadays, to really feel taken care of, to really, you know, because I mean, my experience of many doctors, especially since I've moved, is just like, you know, they've got you in that 20-minute slot or whatever it is they have for you. And, you know, they check some boxes, and then I don't really get any real information,
right?
You know, so,
yeah.
So yes. So if you're drawn to your doctor, don't let him go or her go. Absolutely. Whoever it is.
Driving home the other day from my appointment with my doctor, and I was like, what am I going to do when Dr. Crowley retires? Because he's already close, you know, like he should already be retired, you know. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
You just have to know that their replacement will be just as good.
And let me just say something about this conversation. I just want to name it that I love, is that we're both talking about healthcare practitioners who are male. And it is such an alternative narrative to what I think many of us are getting exposed to in terms of toxic masculinity, especially like in our politics. So to be able to both, us girls behaving metaphysically, be talking about having these really caring healthcare providers who partner with us on our journey, right? I think that's a really important narrative for people to also be able to hear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you said the key word that I was thinking is partner. You know, it's these are people that are in partnership with us, you know, and it's you feel it. You just feel it, you know, and as appreciative as I am of my dentist, he was equally appreciative of me still coming to him.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so it's a mutual respect, and it's a pretty special thing.
Yeah, my doctor, he tells me, like, when he sees me on the roster, he's like, okay, let me get ready for the comedy show, right? We have that kind of a relationship, right? Because like, it is true. My life is like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I can't script the stuff, you know? So, yeah. And it's a relationship, you know?
It's a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. And sometimes when we feel like we can't work the stuff, what do? We pull a card. And that's what we're going to do now. Time for our card pull of the week.
Ooh, my cards match my shirt today. And it matches the color of the banner.
Okay.
I love all of it. I love it all. So you got to tell me when to stop, brother.
No one can tell you when to stop, Natasha. Okay,
Oh, no.
stop.
Okay. I feel like this card's come up before. It's this card, number 44, says master the dance. I literally know this dance pose. I do this dance pose when I am, I have been so sick. I haven't been able to get my nails done. Look at that. That's bad. Anyways, master the dance. All right. Number 44. Like I literally know this pose. And I do it sometimes and I need to feel grounded. So here we go. Give me the number 44. I think it's actually the last card in the deck. I think it might be. I just want to double check.
I love that number 44.
Me too. And it's the last card in the deck. I just love this so much. All right. So give me a moment because my glasses and my brain. Okay. Master the dance. So on the surface, it seems on the surface, it seems the world inside and outside of you is filled with movement, color, form, and noise. But tune in. I need light. I'm sorry. Let me make this brighter. Okay. But tune in deeper and you will perceive the eternal silent stillness behind all appearances and manifestations. Now is a time to enter fully into the stillness and to come close into a state of complete and single-minded presence. This is what it means to quote unquote master the dance. The time is right. The time is right to gain greater mastery in a discipline, an art, career path, or other areas, or to step into greater self-mastery regarding your entire life experience. Whatever dance you are being called to master, set the clear intentions to do so and commit to devotional, dedicated daily practice. Spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, and spending quiet time, solitary time in nature will also support you in attaining new wisdom, expertise, and personal power. You are a full spectrum being. You embody archetypical polarities such as dark and light, lunar and solar, feminine and masculine, and intuitive and rational. When you honor and unite these energies within your being, there will be balance. You will connect with all your wholeness, live your power, and feel at home in the world. Choose to harmonize and calibrate the energies within and around you, and then fearlessly face and embrace all that is happening in your mind, body, spirit, relationships, environment, and life. Once you do this, you will activate your full potential and become the captain of your fate. No embodied movement will bring you into harmony with the wisdom of this card, quite like the Narachaka pose. That's the pose I was saying. This is the favorite pose of the Hindu god Shiva, who is synonymous with both the cosmic dance and the vast, empty, open presence that underlies the entire manifest world. And then goes through examples of how to actually go into the pose. So I won't read that part, but yes, I love it. And I really do love that pose. It requires like engaging your core, reaching to the heavens, grounding to the earth. It's a really like, you know how the neuroscience behind like your body posture, like when you want to feel confident, like stand up straight, all these things are like,
Right.
pose is powerful.
Yeah. Well, that's a powerful reading. I don't know that we've ever pulled that card, but I certainly feel like it's the core of a lot of the things we talk about, because we're talking about finding that spot, right, where you anchor in the knowingness, where you anchor in the truth, and where, sometimes it's a moment or I use the word moment freely, but of anchoring, and other times it's a moment of release.
And that's what this pose actually embodies. It embodies both, so it's like it's like the left hand is to the sky while the right hand and the left foot are like coming to meet right off the ground, but the right foot is anchored and the left hand is like letting go, right, while also coming into this beautiful union of the left and the right hemispheres of the body. It's really such a beautiful vibe. So I love this.
And what did it say again? What's the title of it?
Master the Dance, and it's number 44 and the very last card in this deck.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just in general, just using the title, it's like, isn't that really what we're all here for or trying to do? Is master the dance?
Yeah, and whatever that is for us as unique, individuated beings, that's the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like it's in some ways it's come up a lot, this week, just in like questioning even like what I'm dancing to, like where's my intention and what am I to focus on, and all of those things, and feeling like there is somewhere specific, or there is something more specific that I can look at. So it's a little cryptic, but that's the way it is.
It's okay. I don't know. Sometimes cryptic is like mystery, and I like that. Yeah.
Well, I'm in the middle of my mysticism class, so I'm very mystical.
So I love it.
I say things and they write them down as if I said something important. So there you go. All right. Well, when we come back, we're gonna have guests, and we're gonna talk about women in ministry. And I think that will probably lead us to women in power in general. But I don't know, I'm just making it up. So we'll see. We'll see what unfolds when we come back right here on New Thought Media Network. Don't go away.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought, Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, and welcome back to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
And Dr. Natasha Wilson. Yes, Robyn. What's our topic again?
Women in power. I guess it could be women in power with a question mark. I don't know. We're going to see what this conversation unfolds when we bring in our guest, our producer, Michael Mangus, along with Reverend Gil Olmsted, who's joining from my computer screen. So,
boy, that guy's scary looking. Are you sure he's a reverend?
No. There are no guarantees.
He's an irreverent reverend.
That's right.
Irreverent reverend.
I love it. I love that we're the topic is women in ministry, and we've bought on two blokes.
Well, I will speak for myself. I love the women in my life. I love the powerful women in my life. I am not scared of powerful women, that they enhance my life. And I'm so glad for the powerful women in my life, because they have taken me aside and said, are you sure you want to do that? Many times. So no. So what brought all of this up is that this week here in the United States, I'll just go ahead, and the Southern Baptist Convention is they're advancing a formal ban on women pastors. And I'm just going to briefly just kind of go through this. So thousands of Southern Baptists overwhelmingly voted Wednesday to advance a formal ban on women pastors in the nation's largest Protestant denomination, sending a clear message that men alone should preach to those conservative evangelical congregations. The amendment would tighten existing restrictions in the Southern Baptist Convention, which already has a faith statement opposing women pastors. The vote was a 3-1 margin. And again, typically at the SBC annual meetings, the gathering carries the feeling of a town hall with a cast of thousands. Now, the gentleman that I started off with, that's, let me see if I can bring it up. That is Dr. Albert Mohler. And Dr. Mohler is the dean of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Moeller, who sponsored the amendment on women pastors, says that it addresses an issue that's been around for a while. It says this is an opportunity for Southern Baptists to speak in truth and unity and in conviction. There is a line that divides liberal and biblical evangelism, and you can see it on this very issue. The trajectory of liberal denominations is clear, which means that so-called liberal denominations allow women pastors and also priests. There was a brief debate, but what happened was again that there was a 3-to-1 margin. Southern Baptist leaders cite biblical passages that limit pastors to men. Advocates for women's ministry cite biblical passages that proclaim men and women as equal under God, and where women are called to proclaim the gospel.
Okay.
Wow.
So the reason why I bring that up again, that first of all, it saddens my heart that first of all, it's bad theology. It does not take into consideration also church history too, which also states that women were appointed deacons, and also that women had a very important place in the New Testament. We would not have a Christian religion today if it wasn't for the women. Giving their monies to the disciples and the apostles, the women who took up leadership in the home churches, as myself and Dr. Natasha talked about earlier. So I'm really glad to be in Centers for Spiritual Living and in a tradition of New Thought that has, since its very beginning, has always put forth the whole idea of that women have a calling to ministry. Is that it's hard to describe. Is that they talk about in Holmes Institute about the call to ministry, and it takes place with people in different ways. But this whole idea that women can't have that call is ridiculous. And so again, I've read several books and stories about women who even when they were starting to have women pastors in both the Methodist tradition and also in the Episcopalian tradition, where, how they call priest father, well, they call women priest mother. So, I had a friend of mine who was a woman priest in where I was at over in Pennsylvania. She was a marvelous celebrant, a marvelous preacher. And to say that she would be denied that call that she had on her life, it just baffles me. So that's why I bring this up, because that there are individuals who are trying to pull women back into the Stone Age here. So go ahead.
Let's talk about that a little. So I know we talked a little before the show, but why now, and why do you think this is happening?
My opinion?
Sure.
Well, and I will speak, since we do have an international audience, I will speak about the United States again, that we have had again, because of the who's in power at this time, is that they're taking the position of negating women in all ways. I mean, not only just in not only in ministry, but also in healthcare and reproductive rights, trying to take women out of power. And again,
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Our current administration's put a lot of women into power. If they were young, good looking, and had great hair, then they could be in power until he fired them.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. The first ones to go, the ones carrying the water for the patriarchy, the first ones to go.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's fear. It's a lack of self-esteem, I think, in many ways. And men are falling back on this thing of somehow we have to find the way to feel like we're enough. And it's
Well, and so you're doing that from not you, but the general male is doing that from an oppressive way.
It shows up as oppressive to women, but it's all about trying to regain a sense of self. And they're willing to give up anything. That's why they're supporting our current president as well. Mm-hmm. Because if it makes them feel like they have some kind of say, they're good with it right now because they're so desperate.
And no authentic sense of self, no authentic power comes at the expense of anybody else.
Absolutely. Right. And
right.
in this country, especially one of the other movements is that within the evangelical world is that this man movement to you need to be a man. You need to be the head of the household. You need to be, you need to have your wife subservient to you and your family. And I'm going, boy, y'all don't read Paul's letters. I think it's Galatians where he says, a wife, submit yourself to your husband. But if you really read Paul's letter, it says you should, is that as Christ is the head of the church, is that you should, your wife is the most precious thing in your life. And again, that's why I said that many times that I have been pulled off the brink because of not only my wife and other powerful women coming up to me and saying, I don't think that is a good idea, especially with other women. My dealing with other women. And so people just saying, you know what, I don't think that's the right way. And I this whole movement here in this country, again, to denigrate women, to put women in their place is something that I will speak out about until my dying day, because it's just not right. And again, women's right, especially in ministry, I think that is kind of a canary down the coal mine. Whereas if you start denying rights, for example, and also positions, that what will happen is that, it's not going to stop there. It's going to continue.
Of course, it's already showing us. And just for the record, I just want to just show my little feminist tattoo here, right? That I got a couple weeks ago, because I'm an unapologetic, nasty woman feminist. Okay. And unapologetic, my aunt, on my paternal side, bless her soul, my Aunt Carolyn, Reverend Carolyn Lambert Stokes was the first Black woman ordained Methodist minister in the state of Louisiana. She moved to Chicago, had a beautiful church, a beautiful congregation, was politically active, was instrumental in getting Barack Obama elected to the Senate, and instrumental to getting him elected into the presidency. It was her dying work as the head of the church to make sure that she was moving in the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, moving in the legacy of Malcolm X, all people who brought their spirituality into the world of politics, because there's no real separation. And so that's the legacy that I inherit. Yes, I have questioned like where my calling fits within all of that, but I know my calling is my calling. And never, ever, ever, ever at this point in my life would I deny that calling for anything. And yes, I'm like, you know, I hope that people have read like Margaret Atwood's books. Her books are amazing because I feel like she just like had this whole thing, like they're trying to create Gilead. If y'all haven't read the books, right? But I love in the television series, like the main protagonist says, you know, her is like, don't let the bastards grind you down. And we won't. The more we show up, the more we live unapologetically, the more we embrace all parts of us, our feminine side, our masculine side, whatever. God is all of it. These people will continue. This is like what they call an extinction burst that we're seeing. So our job within extinction burst is to stay well and to remember who we are.
Yes.
And to be
right. And also for the men to stand up and say, this is, you know, we are with our women. Is that
that's right.
And especially with and again, I'm very, just thinking back over the dozens of women ministers in New Thought who have affected my life, and to think what would have happened if they weren't there. Mm-hmm. What would have happened if they weren't there? Could there be any kind of male counterparts? And the thing for me is, again, to honor not only women's calling, but also their ministry, to be able to say that, some of them, and I was talking to everyone before the show about that. I do a lot of weddings here in Northeastern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, and that they usually call me in when they want a pastor, and that it saddens me because I know that sometimes is that the reason I'm being called in is because I'm a man. Mm-hmm. Now, they don't tell you that. And that...
do you really think that they know that, really? I mean, consciously?
Okay. So I had a situation last year where I had surgery scheduled, and so I lined up one of my wonderful colleagues, wonderful woman colleagues, Reverend Christy Semple, who's a part of New Thought Media Network. Christy was going to cover the wedding for me, and I would say it was days before the wedding, is that she received a note back from the couple saying, we have decided to go in a different direction. One of our uncles decided to go ahead and to do the wedding. Again, my spidey sense says something else. I mean, it really says that even though that I had provided them with an A-list minister, someone who I would ask to do my ceremony or my wedding, I had provided the very best I could, who's Christy is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely
right.
Wonderful speaker. So I'd provided them with the very best, and that it's that spidey sense that says,
yep,
it was because she was a woman.
But something we've learned in doing working with people, doing weddings, working with creating weddings, is weddings are fraught with misogyny.
Yes.
The whole history of marriage is fraught with misogyny. And so
Yes.
the whole concept, why is it the woman's day? Because that's her one day she gets what she wants. The rest of the time she belongs to the man.
That's why she has to change her name. She goes from the ownership of her father to the ownership of her husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we romanticize this stuff, but this stuff is born of like misogyny. It is born. It is born of deep inequity and fear and hatred and oppression and suppression of women. Like, yeah. I think about this poem from Maya Angelou that, where she defines what love is, right? Love is freeing. Love is liberation. And that's what I requested to be said at my last wedding. I'm now separated. There we go.
You're now liberated.
I'm so liberated. I'm over here 50 years old getting tattoo sleeves with feminist symbols.
Oh my God.
And wearing my size 6 leather pants. God damn it. I love being a woman.
Amen.
But I think what keeps coming up for me during this conversation is, it's really not a question of only women in ministry. It's a question about the equality of women, men and women.
Absolutely.
And of humanity on that level, and it's interesting you brought up Maya Angelou, because I was thinking about her, and I was just thinking about the voices of women and how they've, how we've heard them, how they get to speak up. And so, I think, it's more than just a ministry thing, but it's what's interesting to me is it's like, I don't even understand like their why. Can you tell me their why? I mean, what they say. I know what we think, and how we can boil it down to fear, but like, why are they taking these steps backwards when, women fought so hard to get what they have now? Like, what made the decision to like, oh no, now's the time to turn the table?
The chair calls Dr. Natasha Wilson. Yes, Dr. Wilson, go ahead.
I'm just raising my hand, right? So like as a psychotherapist, as a cultural anthropologist that has studied the evolution of our species, that has questioned and studied and observed our patterns of thinking, as someone who came into New Thought because the first time I heard the phrase mother, father, God, I said, I'm home. And that was inferred in the New Thought space by a man. Okay. And I said, I'm home. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm home. Right. And why? When I said that this is an extinction burst, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm saying that as someone who has studied narcissistic and antagonistic personality disorder, which is what we are looking at with this current administration. Whatever we see on the individual level in psychopathy, there is a collective expression of it. They go hand in hand. They're not separate. And when we know that a narcissist, someone who has, let me say that, someone who has narcissistic or antagonistic personality disorder, right? When they are at a place when the person or people they've been controlling sees them for what they really are, the behaviors get even bigger. Because it is coming to an end. And that is the thing that I feel when I bring all these pieces of my own knowledge and wisdom together and studying this, right? The whole last chapter of my doctoral dissertation is about this and talked about that person who's occupying the space that's called the presidency right now, right? I wrote about that. And This spiritually is what a collective extinction burst looks like, because all the practice of pretending that the emperor is wearing clothes, all the emotional collective practice of denial, of like not acknowledging our history, not caring for the hungry ghost that we need to atone for.
Yeah.
Marianne Williamson talks about this all the time. When that finally comes to a head collectively, this is what we see. And this is why we must prioritize being well, because when this extinction burst, we are going to be needed and called to build the world that we want to live in. That is why the amount of attention we give to this needs to be focused, directed, and we need to really be strong in our prayer life, because we are seeing the end of something and the birth of something simultaneously, and we need to be ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to just that was wonderful, Natasha. The one thing that I wanted to talk about, though, is why is the Southern Baptist Convention taking this this stand? Again, they are taking verses out of Paul's letter, who had never met Jesus. And again, there's a difference between the teachings of Jesus and, again, the theology of Paul. Paul went around the known world talking about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. But one of the things that he talked about in his letters was women be silent. Women wear covering. Women, again, obey your husbands. Now, and again, they're taking Bible verses and again, and just saying, well, this is what the Bible says. Well, the Bible says a lot of things. So if you take the Bible in context with history, though, and as I was saying to everyone beforehand, is again that we would not have a Christian church without women, is that women had an active ministry in the church. They talk about the whole idea of, again, that again, women having house churches and women being at the foot of the cross, and women, again, I'm just talking about the Christian tradition. So that is the reason why, and again, many of the delegates who went ahead and voted for this today were women.
Oh yeah,
they were women who went ahead and voted for this.
Voted with themselves all the time.
Yeah, so I don't. Gil can probably add a few other comments to that too, but that's theologically what's going on.
The Christian church was co-opted by political activity.
Yep.
And that's how much of the current beliefs, especially the ones that we consider to be out of line with real text, came to be. And something struck me, Dr. Natasha. You said that this is a pattern, and we've seen it before. And is there like a historical place you can cite that? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So what we know from from an anthropological perspective is that we lived mostly the majority of our 300,000 year evolution as modern Homo sapiens sapiens. We live the majority of that in egalitarian societies, right?
Okay.
Not matriarchies, not patriarchies, egalitarian, right? So egalitarian meaning like men and women, their value was equal. So you saw lots of images in what we call prehistory of female deities, of like there was always like a sort of balance. And part of that is because as hunter-gatherers or foragers, right, women provided the majority and the consistency of the food stuff, because hunting was not always guaranteed. Yeah. What women foraged was the thing that always held the community over through, right? When the hunting failed, right? And so we know that about 10,000 years ago, we get the advent of what we now understand as agriculture. And when we had that happen 10,000 years ago, we also started to see in the human history these stratified societies based on the work that people did, because now everyone was not involved with providing the sustenance. So we stopped moving as much, right? Because when you're foraging, you need to move. You can't like build a permanent settlement. So then we start to see permanent settlements. We start to see stratification. We start seeing these specializations because people can now, specialize in, I don't know, metallurgy or I don't know, whatever, right? We get these specializations, but it's also around that time that we also start seeing a shift in the relationship between males and females. And it's really within the last 4,000 years of human history that that's when we get intensive agriculture. And also when we really start seeing what we would now see as sort of the modern relationship that we see between men and women. We didn't have a real record of what we would consider marriage until about 5,000 years ago, even though it was different. Like it didn't come with the same like expectations and all this stuff. So that's the history and the evolution. So really and truly, when you think about it, it's like if you think about having $300,000 in the bank versus having $10,000 in the bank, right? So we have $300,000 worth of a history that has helped us not only survive, thrive, evolve. And then when we study our closest primate kin, which are the bonobo chimpanzees, they're an egalitarian group that are led by the females, right? It's led by the females and the children. They're the center. They take care of the males as well. And the males, even amongst the bonobos, it reminds me of what you were saying earlier, Reverend Michael, about how the women have taken you to the side. So what the sort of elder matriarchs of the bonobos do is they basically take like a male who might be causing harm or threatening little ones. They kind of take them to the side, right? They do use lots of sex and sexuality fluidly to sort of like help down-regulate the nervous system. So there's a lot of stuff that if we even look at our closest primates relatives, we can see what types of relationships allow humans to thrive. Then we look at our $300,000 in the bank history versus the last $5,000 to $10,000, right? And you can see what we've done on the planet since then, right? So there's a lot of evidence. And even, so I'll say this last piece. I'm sorry, this is the answer, and I haven't taught in a long time, so just bear with me.
In 60 seconds.
I know, I'm trying to go really fast. So even when we look at the most like modern day people who still engage, very few, but who still engage in foraging as their primary form of sustenance, what we find is that even though there's still a division of labor based on gender, when the male ego, like when they hunt and they bring home a big hunt, right? And then they want to there are all these cultural rituals that are like, the people are like, oh, that's nothing. That's a little antelope, to bring that male ego down. And I think so when we look at even the spiritual technology that evolved from Islam and Christianity, it's all about look, you need compassion. What be of service, because these were the spiritual tools and technology that the male ego needs. And so, and whereas like for women, often what we have to do, like, you know, you say you have women are the people who voted for this. What we are really required to do on our healing journey is often develop a healthy ego, which means a healthy sense of self, because we've been told that our sense of self is like based on how well we care about other people. Yeah. And so the spiritual practices sometimes need to look different. So I'm sorry. I know I got to wrap it up. Don't ask me an anthropological question in the future when we got 10 minutes left, but I love it.
All right. So I think it all comes back to the card we pulled and mastering the dance and knowing exactly why we're here, what we're here to do. And so I just want to thank you both for coming on, for being our guest today, Reverend Michael Mangus and Reverend Gil William Olmsted, two of our favorite reverends. Even though
our favorite boys who were our boys who behave metaphysically alongside us.
Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you to all the women in my life, and especially also the two of you. It really, again, it has really blessed my life. And again, as I see powerful women, again, I really just say that's okay. Then that empowers everyone. So again, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Just really love and appreciate you. Thank you.
Love you all too.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for being here.
Unapologetic women in the world. Be a nasty woman.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, you get labeled as nasty these days. It's a gift.
Amen.
Compliment.
It means you're mastering the dance. So keep on dancing, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.
Thanks.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.